So having looked through Hannah's video, it sounds like she's really passionate about what she does. She's doing what she loves, which is absolutely brilliant. But the problem is she's not actually making any money out of what she's doing at the moment.
From my experience, I got friends in the music industry, signed for Universal and Young Money, Cash Money, and they've had a very, very tough time to get to that stage. It's probably one of the most competitive industries in the world, and I think for Hannah to make it in this industry, she needs to make a name for herself. So I would definitely focus on the last option, which is to become almost like a journalist for the music industry and create a following and get some credibility in the industry.
So having watched Hannah's video, I had some really initial thoughts in relation to all of her ideas. The first one about recruiting more bands, that's her passion. That's why she set up a business. That's what she loves doing. And so I think that that's actually going to be the area of her business that will be the most successful. So I feel she does need to build her roster. And the more bands that she has on the roster, the more likelihood that she'll have some major successes and some who are really good key bands for her to make a revenue from. And it also stays true to her business, to her background, and to what she loves doing and why she set everything up in the first place. So we would definitely be keeping number one.
When you look at all these options, they are a good set of options to have, but I think one of the key questions again is, where does the money come from? So recruiting more bands is more work for her and not necessarily any more money in the short term. So that is, if you like, something which in the long term is core to the business, but not going to generate any money for her quickly.
When it comes to recruiting more bands or producing more music, they go hand in hand. If you get more bands, they would automatically produce more music. But music is an art and you can't push people to produce more music unless they actually want to.
Firstly, I don't really like the sound of option A or B, so that's to recruit more bands or more records, because that relies on other people, and when she's doing what she does best, I think it's best if she keeps everything in her own very capable hands.
She is completely reliant on them, or nannying them, mothering them, pushing them into creating more music. So I do think it's feasible, but she would need to have great negotiation and great relationships with those bands to gain their cooperation in releasing more music. For the festivals, this was the idea. I was like, no, definitely wouldn't do that. I feel that would be really, really difficult in terms of, not for her love of the bands or getting the bands to perform, because that's actually the easiest bit. The rest of it is the health and safety, the legislation, the regulations, the noise control, the getting a site and a venue, the getting the council to agree to it, the transportation to the site. And it takes, to put on an event like that, of that kind and nature, it's going to be at least a year in the planning, at least. And how is she going to support herself through that period? So for me, festivals was a big no.
Running festivals is quite a tricky thing, and I think requires a skill set much outside of that of being a record producer. And consequently, I'm not sure that that's really something I'd want to pursue unless I felt really comfortable that that was something she had the skill set for.
Festival sounds interesting, and could be a good route for her, especially considering she's got some really good links in the music industry, but it sounds like it could be quite costly. So my advice to Hannah at the moment is to become a music writer. Sounds like she does this already and sounds like she's quite good at it, and doing this could be a way to pursue a career and meet lots of bands and do what she loves, but in a slightly different way.
Creating a festival, I would not probably do it. I think it dilutes you from where you want to go. And the logistics are huge. It's not just the music then, it's all about security and sponsorship and everything else. So for me, the option is to become a journalist and write a lot of blogs, follow the bands you want to follow, and then start deciding which route you're going.
Number 4, I really liked that, freelance journalist, and I thought she would be able to do that and she'd be able to be getting some kind of an income in the meantime while she does number 1, growing and building her roster. It's limited in terms of her potential revenue, so I think it could be something that she does alongside the business, but it shouldn't be her principal or main responsibility. It should be something that she does to get out there, to meet people, to have her bands known, to be able to talk about the music scene and the music industry with authority.
Setting up as a freelance journalist gives her time in terms of money to support her for now and the business, but it gives time for the actual business she wanted to flourish, and I think time is what she needs to buy. It's also going to be great because it's going to build her contact base, and that can only help her with taking the business forward and build her reputation in the industry. So for me, if you wanted to focus on something, it's doing more of what you're doing, but making some money elsewhere to give you the time for that to flourish. So it would be option D, freelance journalist.